Hello and welcome to another episode of FPL Expectations with me, Craig. Yes, towards the tail end of the season. I know, game week 33. And I put this as one of the most crucial weeks that I can remember, or most crucial run-ins that I can remember in FPL history, really. But I could be wrong, obviously. But it is such a big start from now till the end of the season. Game week 33 all the way up to 38. It's going to be big. There's loads of chips to play. There's loads of fixtures to be arranged. And more importantly, there's a lot of double game weeks. And, I can never do this on my own because I'm not the expert here. I need to bring in the big guns. And I have today because I've got the main man himself. Joe, how are you doing, mate?
Good, doing well. Just glad once again FPL is back, and it's going to be an interesting game week because we got lots of games coming up.
It is. It's not just this game week that we have to discuss because there is a lot of fixtures between game week 33 and game week 38, and very important ones as well. Because we're not only talking about the relegation battle, we're not only talking about the title race, we're talking about Europe as well. There's still so much to play for going into the last 5 game weeks of the season. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Have we ever had an FPL season like this?
It's unique in the sense because there were so many postponements, throughout the whole season, and right now everything just cramped up at the final few weeks.
Yeah.
On top of that, so many teams are involved, like you said, Craig. So many teams are involved with European commitments and also the FA Cup.
Yeah.
So it creates this really dynamic situation where things can just change within a day, or just within a match. Like for example, KDB. He was in most of our thoughts. Especially those on free hit, and suddenly he's doubtful. So things can just change. In just within a day or just after a match. So which is something that we're also going to touch on as we talk further.
Definitely. Not only that. The FA Cup, as you mentioned, Joe. It's going to bring us a lot of fixture rearrangements because I think it's something like if Chelsea win, now that they're out of Europe, that Man United fixture as well gets rearranged into the bulk double game week.
Game week 34.
34. So straight away, that's just like the next game week. So we always look as FPL manager. I got to ask you this because I know how you play the game, and these are the key things that you look at. And planning is so vital, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
But when you this kind of scenario, how do you? I know how you set up your teams, and you think about transfers, and do I take a hit this week, or I got 2 transfers to carry on. But with everything just dependent on like one match, how do you set your teams up?
I've read somewhere one reason why this season is different is because hits somehow gets more rewarded as compared to previous seasons, because we have so many double game weeks in this season. So I think I've read somewhere like game week 32, the one that we just had, was the only normal sort of game week, where every team only plays once in this almost this year.
Yeah.
So every other game week you have a team or 2 double, and it creates this chaos, this as I said, this dynamic situation where hits, you see hits everywhere every game week. So personally, I've taken a lot of hits as well this season.
Yeah, but you're no stranger to hits, Joe. You're the hitman. We know that from past seasons.
Yeah, but this season, usually my philosophy or my thinking revolving hits is usually I'll keep the player for at least 3 to 4 game weeks for the hit to pay off. But this season, you could take a hit to bring this player in, and then by the next game week you could even take a hit to bring that same player out. So I mean, it's really unique this season. I mean, you can probably say the same for every season, but this season I think it's a season that we haven't had this kind of season before.
Well, let's not forget. I mean, obviously, last season obviously was heavily disrupted by COVID, and then you got this season obviously with the fixture rearrangements and postponements, like you mentioned. I mean, we're not even looking into next season. The World Cup, I mean, it's happening.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, that's just going to throw another spanner into the works. I mean, we're so used to having a congested Christmas and Christmas period, December, where, you know, the games come thick and fast. But we're going to have almost, you know, from November to January, like with no FPL, you know, everyone's going to be glued to the World Cup. So, I mean, there's nothing like we've seen before because it's a unique time to have the World Cup, isn't it?
Yeah, it's right smack in the middle of season. I don't think we ever had that before, to be honest. So it's going to create a lot of chaos. There will be certain players which are not involved in the World Cup. I don't know what they're going to do. Probably just training week in, week out. And there will be players involved in the World Cup. And suddenly when they come back, they might be burnt out and they might get their rest. I'm not sure. I reckon we might hopefully get an extra wild card after the World Cup. Who knows?
Fingers crossed. Well, we got it this. It wasn't a wild card. It was a free hit, wasn't it? This season. So who knows what we'll get next season? Okay, let's get back to it. Game week 32. Joe, how did you get on? I mean, let's talk about that before we move on into game week 33 and obviously the fixtures that are to come. Let's have a look at your team and see how you did and talk us through it.
I think my team didn't do that badly. I think my score was probably only average, as compared to other managers around my rank. My overall rank dropped slightly. I think just by a few hundred spots, which is totally acceptable.
Yeah.
But if you look at my team, I think many of us also had this issue where, this situation where we have many players were only on 1 point.
Yeah.
And there are several players that had a double-digit return. Son got his hat trick. So it's another game week where we see huge swings. Certain managers probably have low scoring because they have more players with 1 point or blanks, and certain managers will have. I think standout managers. They most probably they have Son or even captain him. So huge swings. But I'm just fortunate to have a score that didn't destroy my rank that badly. Not owning Son was really painful for my rank, but thankfully I had players that could match up with his output. Particularly Rafinha, finally he got his double digit score after
a long time.
Yeah. Let's just for the sake of it, let's just see how many points he had. I think this is his first time in his whole season that he had a double-digit score.
Yeah. And this is not like the Rafinha that we knew from last season, was it? You have to say a lot of this goes down to the fact that Leeds have been missing Patrick Bamford.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
And I think that is something that we are forgetting, because if we look at last season and the Rafinha points that we got on, it was a lot of us. He did obviously score goals, but Patrick Bamford played a big part in that. Whether it was assists from Rafinha and Bamford scoring, or if it was him just holding up play and bringing Rafinha into it. It's so crucial. Leeds have effectively played this whole season without a striker.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. If you look at last season, how Bamford positions himself and plays, he is a poacher,
Yeah,
most of the time. And I mean, yes, although he does his runs as well and he helps the team, even assists as well, but most of the time he is the man that the team target for. And if you look at compare Dallas as well, last season and this season, so
yeah,
much difference.
yeah,
Dallas this season, even in FPL terms, if in FPL sense he became a midfielder, but he was virtually he's just so different for
yeah,
him this season. And Bamford, it's just a shame where he just comes back from injury and he got injured again and he's out for the whole season.
yeah,
So and this whole Leeds team, their performance even cost Bielsa his job, which
yeah.
is a shame, to be honest. So I
I mean,
think
but we look at someone like Harrison, though, who he's probably done better this season than he
yeah,
has, the seasons before. When we were all focused on Rafinha and Bamford. I mean, Harrison was obviously the side act to that, but I mean, this season he's definitely improved, hasn't he?
yeah. I mean, surprisingly, he's racking up points really quietly. I think he had like 4 goals in 4 games so far, if I'm not mistaken. So he's definitely a dark horse, I would say, and probably a great differential. But I think this season in terms of FPL, most of the time we probably are avoiding Leeds, and probably Rafinha is the only player worth considering. But I think with his blank in game week 33, we definitely see a lot of managers offloading him as well.
Okay. All right. And the rest of the team, obviously, you went with the captain, Captain O'Kane, and
Yep.
I mean, I'm not going to say it didn't pay off. I mean, he returned, but
Mm-hmm.
obviously, I mean, Son took the headlines,
Took the
shall we
lime,
say,
yeah, took the limelight.
for that game week. I mean, how painful was it? I mean, like you, I Captain Kane. I mean, Leeds. Spurs scoring 4 goals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Kane not getting on the score sheet. I mean, it's not too often that happens.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his past last 3 games, he it's as if he totally switched to a creative midfielder role. You see,
Yeah,
0 goals, but he had 7 assists. Seven
yeah,
assists in 3 game weeks.
it's
That's
crazy.
nuts. It's
Yeah,
crazy. And if you see one of his assists with a header to Son, that's that's just pure instinct. That's just it's it. I kept watching the clip time and again of how he just took half a second to scan where the space was and
yeah,
where Son is going to, and then he just hits the ball to that open space. It's just a joy to watch. So that's the quality of Kane. He can switch up his gameplay in just an instant. So 7 assists in 3 game weeks is crazy in terms of FPL. I mean that's great. That's a great return as well as a Kane owner. So I can't fault him for that. I can't complain much because I've seen several managers had Son and switched to Kane, and now they want to switch back to Son.
yeah.
So it's really hard to chase those points. But
It's a hit and miss. I mean, you're gonna get lucky on some weeks with Son. Kane can so easily return.
yeah, exactly.
Next week.
Yep.
It's just one of those. It's a toss of the coin almost.
Yeah, it's just sort of like one of those seasons where it was toss of a coin between Salah and Mane, and you just
Yeah.
stick to one and just go ahead with it.
Keep the faith.
Yeah, keep the faith. If you're really if you're really concerned and it bothers your sleep, just double up.
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, speaking as a Kane owner, and why I went for Kane was just primarily that there's not good enough strikers out there.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
and for me, like in that midfield area, if you don't have Son, there's enough quality around that
Mm-hmm.
to get good players in that can return. Obviously, I mean, Son didn't score a hat trick, but if you look at it generally the whole season, I mean, there are players like Saka that you can get in. I mean, obviously
Yep.
we're going to come onto it this game week, but players like Madison that are going to have good
Mm-hmm.
fixtures. Bruno,
You have Mason Mount,
Mason Mount, exactly. So,
Havertz. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, Havertz playing up front, as a midfielder. I mean, there's so many options in midfield. But when you
Mm-hmm.
look up front, I mean, you look at players that are scoring. I mean, strikers that are scoring, that are playing regularly, and there's not too much about, is there?
Yeah. This season, I mean, and another unique situation scenario we're in this season is the forwards just somehow can't deliver, except
Yeah,
Kane. And it even took Kane probably half a season to actually warm
get
up his
going.
engines,
Yeah,
get going.
yeah,
I mean, even Conte came in, he didn't exactly fire up. He didn't
yeah,
exactly fire up to be the Kane that we know and love. You see, so it took him several games under Conte, and also to boost up his confidence. And right now he's unplayable. So and I admit I was sort of lucky to bring Kane in right before his run of form starts, and now I'm sort of reaping the rewards as well. And another stat I saw about Son is that he scored 6 goals in 7 shots.
oh
So
wow,
that's amazing. I mean, he is known to be a very clinical finisher of the ball, and if I'm not mistaken, I think for about 5 or 6 years running, he is the most clinical player in the top five leagues.
wow,
Be-
interesting
you know,
stat. That.
yeah, how they do that is they compare the amount of goals he scores against his xG. So
Yeah,
he is consistently overperforming his xG. So how they measure how clinical is he is that they measure the percentage of his goals over his xG. How far ahead is he? And he has been doing that consistently over the past 5 to 6 seasons. So Son, he is. I mean, he is a clinical finisher, and he just needs to get those chances in. So with Kulusevski coming in and establishing himself in this Spurs team, um, it's finally paying off.
okay. That's enough about game week 32. Let's move on to the coming weeks and more importantly, game week 33, double game week 33, shall I say?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I did want to ask you about Verkhorst, but
Yep.
I think I can ask you about him in the next topic, which will be about the double game week 33, and obviously Joe. You got some slides and potential. I mean, this is a game week where managers that have the free hit still intact are likely to deploy it. But
Yep.
I mean, we have seen over the last few weeks that there is a nice juicy double game week 37 that comes up,
Mm-hmm.
which could be tempting for certain managers. But if you had a free hit chip, and do you have a free hit chip? Sorry.
Yeah, I still have both of my free hit chips.
Okay, so you're in a very very good comfortable position there, Joe. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but if we were to go to it, and if we were to look at using a free hit chip in 33, I mean, is that the right way to go?
I think if you have one, I mean, let's not talk about two free hit chips. Not many managers has two free hit chips left,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Let's
most
talk
of
about one. Yeah,
yeah, I think most of us have one at least. So if you have one, it really depends on your team.
yeah,
I think game week 36 is probably not. I mean, yes, it's a major, a big double game week, but I think most of us shouldn't have any problems fielding uh, at least 9 or 10 double game week players.
You can build up to that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because the sheer amount of teams having double game weeks, I don't think we should have a problem fielding double game weekers. It's just the quality of those players. But another interesting one is game week 37, because some teams will blank, and some teams will double, and they are even there's even a possibility of Man City double as well on game week 37. So
Correct,
that could be very enticing, because considering City, they have probably one of the better fixtures up right to the end of the season. So and not many of us, I think, have more than one City's asset at the moment. So it could be interesting to triple up on City on game week 37 as well. So if I were having only one, I would probably look to keep it on game week 37 instead. Because
okay,
if you look,
go on. Sorry.
Because if you look at this current game week, they are single game week players with good fixtures, like Spurs, like Man City, and I'm sorry, Craig, even Liverpool.
Yeah. It hurts to say it, but yes, it is a very, very good fixture for them currently, judging by the way Man United are playing right now.
So if you have only one game, if you only have one free hit, I would keep it on game week 37, because game week 33, you have players with decent fixtures, even single game week players with decent fixtures, and you can probably bring in players from Newcastle or even Man United, so maybe with a hit or even two. So I would say 5 to 6 double game week players with other single game week players with good fixtures. I reckon is good enough for game week 33, and better to keep that free hit for game week 37.
I mean, that's exactly what I was just going to ask you, to be honest with you. I mean, we're at this obviously double game week 33, and it's one of those, like, I mean, you're not going to flood your team, even if you're on a free hit. You're not going to flood your team with double game week players, right? Because one of the main things you look for in a double game week is obviously the fixtures. And it is not a fixture that you can point out and say, well, you would have thought that about Leicester. Maybe Newcastle have tasty ones as well. I mean, those were maybe the two. And if we look at the draft that you've come up, I mean, we have to bear in mind, and I have to mention this, that this is a free hit chip, free hit draft that is of the value of 102 million. Yeah.
No, this is not. This is the.
This is not the one.
This is around. I think this is around 104 million. So I've prepared a budget draft as well.
Okay.
Right.
So we look at this, and I mean, Leicester players, obviously, I think at the start of the week, everyone who was playing that free hit chip was clamoring to get, the likes of Maddison and Barnes in. And then obviously we've seen what's happened in Europe yesterday, and Barnes hooked at halftime. And just reading through a few of the forums and on Twitter, Harvey Barnes, I mean, he's a bit of a danger now. Whether he's going to even play, one of those games. I mean, we expect him to play one, but will he play two? Maybe not. Maddison obviously had a good game week yesterday. Had a good game yesterday. Yeah. But there was a lot of talk about this double up between from Maddison and Barnes, and possibly Schmeichel in goal. At Newcastle, it was obviously Wood up front. Shah's been heavily mentioned. Target's another one. But it's not one of those double game week fixtures where you're going to be, I'm going to go for them. Because when you look at the single game week players, you're looking at the likes of Spurs that have a decent fixture. You look at the likes of City that have a decent fixture. But then again, when I talk about City, you got to remember FA Cup weekend. They've just had a very intense match against Atletico. They've got another intense match coming up tomorrow against
Liverpool.
And then, does he rotate after that to give them some of the breathers? I mean, there's so much going on. I mean, how do you navigate through this?
Yeah, I mean, which is why I say if you're not on free hit,
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't rush to bring in double game weekers or load up, just for the sake of it, because you got to look at their fixtures and beyond game week 33 as well. So which is why Spurs they are enticing because they had their rest.
Yeah.
They are not involved in any European games, and they're gunning for that top four. So if you're not on free hit, I mean, and you look at single game week players, definitely Spurs are the ones that you should go for, because as you mentioned, Craig, City, they have a tough match. I mean, don't forget Chelsea as well. Chelsea,
Yeah.
they are
Chelsea.
they are single. They have a single game week as well.
Yep.
Pretty good fixture as well. But they're
FA
playing
Cup as well. Don't
Yeah,
forget.
they have an
And
FA Cup
after
as well.
120 minutes in the Champions League.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, if it's tricky to navigate. If you don't have a free hit chip, I would suggest maybe maximum a hit or two, but just bear in mind, I mean, you got to carry the mindset of damage limitation instead of trying to gain rank on game week 33.
Okay. So this is your draft one. Talk us through this draft that you have in front of us right now.
Yeah, maybe I'll just go through quickly. I have 4 drafts with me. So the first draft is more of having keeping Salah, because most of the free hit drafts that I've seen on Twitter, they offload Salah because I'm not sure. Klopp mentioned that he had a knock. I'm not sure. He's not even sure as well. But Salah was benched. But I think he came on. I think he came on. What did he?
Yeah, he came on. He came on about 60th minute, I think.
Yeah. So I don't think that knock is something serious. But why people offload Salah is because of budget constraints. They want to load up on other players. Like for example, if you look at this draft, by having Salah, you can't have the likes of Kane or Cancelo, and I only have 0.1 million in the bank. And if you look at the bench, they're all non-players.
Yeah.
So which is a bit dangerous. But I guess this is the price you gotta pay if you want to keep Salah on a free hit. So the first draft is mainly a Salah draft. Okay. So for the viewers, if you want to have a look at this, you can just screen capture this, and then I'll just move on to the second one. Yeah.
This Salah draft.
Yeah, Salah. So draft number 2 is also another Salah draft, but if you compare to the first one, let's see, you don't have Maddison, you don't have any Leicester assets, attacking assets at least, but we have Adams in here. Because why Adams is in here, because even though Southampton is going through a rough patch, Adams is quietly wrecking on the underlying stats in terms of goals involvement stats, at least the underlying ones. So could this be the double game week where he finally gets a return or two? We will never know. So but on this draft, you don't have, I mean, I think I got an error there. It's not no Ronaldo. Ronaldo is in that draft. Let me just correct this. But you don't have Kane.
No Kane
in this draft.
Yeah.
But you have Salah, and decent bench. You have Amati and Dewsbury Hall. But other than that, you don't have Kane, and you don't have Cancelo, which are I would say
they have good fixtures.
Yeah, the single game week players to go for that has the fixtures. Okay, so let's move on to draft number 3. So this is my current draft. I would say currently I'm leaning towards this. basically I'm avoiding Leicester assets altogether because you, I personally think Madison will still start both games, but
Okay.
probably hook off early.
Mm.
I think
That's
regardless of
60, 70th minutes.
yeah, I think maybe even earlier, 60th minute. I think Barnes will still feature some one way or another, but whether will he start both games, I think that's also uh
That's the million
probably
dollar question, basically.
yeah $1 million question as well.
I mean,
But
just touching on what I went through today when I saw that he got taken off at halftime, and a lot of the
mhm,
Leicester fans were saying, that there's no knock, there's nothing. He has been bad for a while.
yeah, exactly. He's not performing up to expectation. Really poor, and yeah, I mean at the end, Leicester won. Um, but Barnes, you don't you don't get taken off at halftime in such an important match if you're not really you're
Yeah,
not really contributing. You see,
yeah,
so it's a bit worrying. As if I own Barnes, I would be worried, but I think Madison could still be worth taking the risk.
yeah,
But why I settle on the double up with Saka and Martinelli is because I think they have much more to fight for in the Premier League. I don't say Leicester don't have anything to fight for, but Leicester got to balance between the Conference League and the PL. Whereas Arsenal they are more focused on the PL. They definitely they want to turn things around, and they have their rest.
yeah,
They had their rest. So which is, and then they are more. I mean, as a free hit team in the double game week, you would prefer to bring in players that are more guaranteed in minutes rather than risk rotation, because
100%.
because let's say you bring in a player that has a risk, and he get bench one game and he only plays in one, so he suddenly becomes essentially a single game week player. You see,
Yeah,
so it just ruins the strategy, it just ruins the whole double game week uh, vibe. So which is why I'm more leaning towards Saka and Martinelli rather than Madison.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, the disadvantage of this is that there is no Mo Salah as well.
Yeah,
Which,
and I mean, this is something that you mentioned just now. I mean, Salah against United as well. I mean, let's not forget he's going to be playing up against Telles, number one.
yeah,
I mean, Shaw looks like he's out for the rest of the season, according
yep,
to Rangnick.
yep,
Um, I mean, as a United fan, Telles isn't the best of defenders. That could potentially be a juicy a juicy lineup. But again, he's the point about this is that he had his rest in midweek.
yep.
He didn't start in midweek, so he's definitely going to play tomorrow. I know he picked up a bit of knock. I mean, the reports coming out saying that he's fine. He will
Mm-hmm.
play tomorrow. I mean, there's no chance. I don't think he's missing City match.
No
But
chance.
likewise, I don't think he's going to miss the United match. I mean, it's another
Yeah,
it's two huge
yeah,
matches in a row.
yeah. I don't think he'll miss the United match as well. He's definitely starting the United match at home. It's just whether how he come out of the City match, will it be unscathed or will it be overworked? I
Yeah.
don't know.
I mean,
So
we can only judge, but it will be too late to take that risk. So obviously, the match kicks off at 3:30 tomorrow. But yeah, so this is what you are sticking to right now in terms of. I mean, you said it's your current draft.
yeah,
You are going with no Leicester assets and no Mo Salah.
yeah, just avoiding the headache altogether, uh, without any Leicester assets. I mean, of course, I have Amati and Dewsbury Hall, but they are
Yeah,
my bench cover.
your bench. Yeah,
But yeah, going without Salah and hoping the double game week players to match his single game week output.
okay, fantastic. Yeah, and so just to double confirm, you're playing your free hit chip this week. I mean, you got
Yep.
two. I mean, not many managers have that kind of luxury, but obviously you're playing your first one this week.
Yep, exactly. And I have one more draft to share, which is the budget
Oh,
draft.
yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so this is the budget draft. As you can see in my bank, I have about 3.3 million. So this draft is about 102 million, 102 million or below, with a decent bench, I would say. So you have your Newcastle cover, you have your United, Triple United, you have Madison in there, you have Saka or Ben White if you so to choose. You have Adams as well. You have, and then this team has nine double game week players, with Cancelo and Son being the only single game week players. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, so this team is fairly balanced, and it's quite exciting as
It's
well.
quite, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
just looking at it, and I'm surprised you got some of the names in there for for that price. To be honest with you, I mean, looking at the likes of Ronaldo, obviously costs a lot. Son,
Hmm.
Fernandez. I mean, that's majority of that. And then you look behind, and you got Cancelo. Um, I mean, it seems like on paper it looks like a really decent free
Yeah.
hit draft.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, why? I mean, I did ask you to make this, around the 102 mark, and the reason why I did that, and I've seen some other, YouTube videos and stuff like going up to 100 million. The reason why I
Hmm.
think 102, I think, is about fair is
Yeah.
that means you're an active manager,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
You're playing and you're active and you're quite involved. I think if
Mhm.
you look at 100 million, you just it's just, I mean, we all start off with that. Do you know what I mean? And then we're towards the end of the season, so your team value should have increased
Yeah.
and things like that. So I think, I mean, in terms of that, the squad that you've managed to pull out this, very exciting, very very exciting, and especially for those watching, if you're looking at playing your free hit chip and your budget's roughly around that, and even if you have a little bit more to spend. I mean, you can look at upgrading some of the defensive options. Um, like maybe with Steele, just in case. And I don't think it's possible that Schmeichel doesn't play both, or at least one. Dewsbury Hall. Dewsbury Hall's a funny one. I mean, that's one that I wanted to mention actually, because
Mhm.
I want to watch United Leicester a couple of weeks ago, and he's playing in a very advanced position than he normally does. Um, he's cheap, and he's almost guaranteed to start in this Leicester team.
Yeah.
And we can't really say that about the likes of Harvey Barnes. We can't say that. And I looked at some of the defensive options that Leicester have. There's a lot of rotation in between there. There's Luke Thomas play. There's James Justin play. There's Ricardo Pereira play. I mean, between that back four, I mean, there's a lot of switching off, especially when Johnny Evans is in there. Does Fofana play? Does Sionchu play? Amati? I mean, there's so much rotation. But Dewsbury Hall, when I looked at it, he seems to be, him and Tielemans are kind of like a mainstay in this Leicester 11.
Yeah. Box to box midfielder, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
And his goal, I think his goal last game week
Oh,
was
the top corners.
yeah, it's a beautiful
Yeah.
shot. So
Ridiculous. He got a goal and assist, didn't
yeah,
he?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's only 4.4,
Yeah.
and he plays. You can't wish a better bench fodder than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So for those of you, if you are watching right now and you are planning on playing your free hit chip, obviously look at the slides that our good friend Joe FPL has put on for you, and look at some of the guys that you're looking to pick for this week. Okay, we're going to go on and move on to chip strategy and players to target. So, I mean, we got to bear in mind as well, all right, that not everyone has maybe the luxury of having a free hit chip to play. That there are managers out there that are looking to make transfers to build a team. I mean, which kind of players are we looking at? That we'll start off with that, and then we'll go into chip strategy for the ones that do have remaining chips left.
I think quite a few managers that I see on Twitter, they still have their bench boost
Yeah,
and their wildcard. So I think most managers I see they plan to wildcard on game week 34.
Yeah.
That's where you firstly on game week 34, if you walk out on game week 34, you can target players who double on game week 34, and then you can target players who double on game week 35, and of course the big double game week on game week 36,
Yeah.
and if you can navigate
On
as well
Tuesday.
game week 37.
Yeah.
So
Because sorry, just to interrupt you, by game week 34, we should know what's happening in the future game weeks, shouldn't we?
yeah, it should pretty much set in stone. Like for
Yeah.
example, we already pretty much know now game week 36 how it will pan out. But I think by game week 34 deadline at least we will know who's going to double on game week 35.
Yeah.
So which actually you already help a lot. As you already know, 3 game weeks, who's going to double, who's going to blank. I mean, if there is a blank. So so if you have a wild card, I think many managers will play on game week 34, and after that, if you have your bench boost, what better game week to play other than game week 36, where you can potentially field up to 15 double game week players, and hopefully have a huge bench boost, huge haul. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the players that we're looking to target in this week? Let's talk about this week. For the ones that aren't playing the free hit chip and are using transfers to build a team for game week 33, we mentioned obviously the benefits of having single game week players over double game week players. I mean, the likes of City, the likes of Swindon. I think they both play Brighton, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
Yeah.
But then obviously you've got the flip side of that, which is your Leicesters, your Newcastles, and I'm going to say United. But United is effectively we're targeting United assets for one fixture, aren't we? I mean, let's be real. Let's be real. I mean, I'm a United fan, but I mean, let's be real. From an FPL perspective, I mean, it's that Norwich fixture that we're targeting, aren't we? I mean, we're not looking. And anything you get from the Liverpool fixture is effectively a bonus. Exactly. You got to say that capital if.
I mean, are you in any way going to catch that match against Liverpool?
It's at Anfield, so I won't be able to get it. I'll be at Norwich tomorrow, but I won't be heading to Anfield. It's a bit hard to get the away tickets, but I'll definitely be watching it on TV. There's no chance I'm missing that. It's in my opinion still the biggest fixture in the English Premier League calendar. But it's I mean, as an FPL manager, if I was to bring in a United asset, I'm only solely looking at one fixture. Like I said, anything else, you're just hoping Jurgen Klopp rotates. And even then, when they do rotate, I mean, he was bold enough and brave enough to make that decision in the Champions League.
Oh yeah,
and they still did all right.
Exactly.
It's a scary thought.
It's just the quality of the players that they have.
Yeah.
Like even Tsimikas played very well.
Yeah. Did he get 2 assists?
I think it was 2 assists.
2 assists. I mean, you got the Konate one. I can't remember the other one, but I mean,
you got the Firmino one as well.
Sorry,
I think he got a Firmino one as well.
Yeah. Firmino was the one he dragged it. The Jota that dragged it across. But anyway, I mean, it doesn't matter. Even within the forward three, I mean, you got the likes of Firmino that can come in, Diaz that can come in. It is a scary thought. So I mean, okay, place the target for this game week, Joe. Give me 3 players that we should be targeting if you're not on a free hit.
3 player names.
Yeah.
If you're not on a free hit, I would say if you're not on a free hit, probably we should look at probably one Leicester asset at least.
Okay, and right now, obviously,
the best, probably the most I mean, the best player in Leicester probably right now, if we can agree, is Maddison.
Yeah.
And why is that? Why is because Leicester is going to have 3 double game weeks until the end of the season. So they have the most postponed games. They have, they I think they have 3 games in hand.
Okay.
So which means they're gonna have 3 double game weeks. So probably Madison will be the first. I mean, will be one of them. Another one I would say is if you. This is a bit tough. I probably wouldn't recommend going for United assets unless you are playing wild card on game week 34. Which is why I see several managers bringing United assets because they're gonna wild card their way out to bring Salah back, for example. So unless
but
you
then
are
again, United could potentially have that double game week against Chelsea.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we won't know really. I mean,
we won't know before the deadline, to be honest, because it all depends on Chelsea's FA Cup match.
Palace.
Result. So because the problem with United assets is that they're not cheap. So you gotta sacrifice one premium for another.
Yeah.
But if you ask me for which player to get, even though you are not on free hit, I would probably say the likes of Shaw or Dan Burn. Why is because firstly they have a double game week, both at home, and I would say Newcastle performs decently at home, and they are cheap. They are only 4.4, so you can choose to bench them in the future game weeks, but at least you're hopefully reaping the rewards from game week 33.
Yeah.
So Shah or Dan Burn is probably Shah over Dan Burn. Is my pick as well. Even though you are not on a free hit, especially if you have like the likes of Doherty because Doherty is ruled out for the whole season, so you can probably downgrade with a budget to release more funds for your future transfers, and also at least have an extra player that doubles on this game week.
Okay.
Another one I would probably recommend is, this is a tough one. I think so far I've only have 2 in my mind.
Okay. A single game week player, maybe. I mean, we got to be looking at Spurs, surely. I mean, that fixture in Brighton, Kane or Son.
I assume most of us should have already Kane or Son
already. Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Would Reguilon be a pick now that Doherty's not there?
Tough to say.
Or Emerson Royale, maybe.
I would say Emerson Royale probably should. I mean, firstly, he's cheaper, and probably he's more nailed on the right side.
Yeah.
As compared to Reguilon, I think because there's still Sessegnon, right?
Yeah, Sessegnon's back.
It's I can't remember. Yeah, Sessegnon is back as well.
Yeah, he's back. He's back in training. Yeah.
Yeah, but to be honest, I don't really trust on Spurs defense.
Okay.
The fact that they kept a clean sheet last game week is hugely because of Lloris.
Yeah. Made some good saves, didn't he? Important saves. Yeah.
I mean, if you ask me, probably the third player I would consider bringing in, if you don't mind, of a single game week player is probably Reece James.
Yeah, I forgot about that actually. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think he played 120 minutes, so that means he's fit and ready to feature. And also Chelsea is going to have their double game week as well. Either on game week 34 or some other game week. So Reece James will probably be the third player that I would probably recommend.
Okay, fantastic. We're going to move on to questions and answers from the community. There's a lot of questions on the side here. I'm going to ask you to go through them. I just need to sort something out in a bit. Answer those questions, get back to them, and I'll be back in a bit.
Okay, unfortunately I can't highlight those questions. I think if you look at Marcus, I think he says my current free hit draft is Schmeichel, Telles, Cancelo, Shaw, Son, Fernandes captain, Saka, Madison, Adams, Ronaldo, Wood. His bench will be Dubravka, Dewsbury Hall, Ben White, and KWP. I'm on free hit 33, game wildcard 34, and bench boost on 36. Thoughts? 0.6 in the bank. I think it's a decent free hit team. To me it's good to go. You have a good bench cover. All four players on the bench are starters and doubles as well. So yeah, good to go. Good to go for me. Poshan Karal says recommend season end wildcard draft, please. I think it's a bit, to me, I would prefer to wildcard on game week 34 rather than game week 33. So, maybe Craig, can you highlight his request, Poshan Karal?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he says recommend season end wildcard draft, please. I would prefer to keep that wildcard for game week 34.
I think this is. I think the wild card. I think in the coming shows, in the coming weeks, probably next week. Actually, I think we'll be able to come up with a draft there. I think that's when most managers who have the wild card chip will be doing it in 34 or 35. So we will be definitely getting a draft out there. So don't worry about that, Poshan. We'll get that to you when we do the show. Did you go through the free hit team?
Yep.
That's done.
My comment on the free hit team is that it's a good free hit team.
Yeah.
And to me, it's good to go.
Fantastic. And free hit 33, wildcard 34, bench boost 36. Absolutely perfect in my opinion, because that's exactly what I'm going to be doing, I think.
Tasty.
How's it going? Nice to finally see those faces. Thank you for joining us, FPL Ija.
FPL Elijah.
Elijah, is it?
Yeah, his name is Elijah, and he's a fellow FPL Twitter member, and also he has a YouTube channel. So shout
fantastic!
out to him. Yep.
And Joe, give him a plug.
Yeah, I mean he does YouTube FPL as well. So do check him out. And
do check him out. Yeah, fantastic. And thanks for joining us as well and supporting. And we'll definitely, if you're watching right now, do check him out. I'm sure there's a lot of good content on there and some good FPL suggestions. Vincent, always good to see you.
Always a supporter.
He's always there supporting us, which I like. And he does have a question as well.
Which one should I bench? James, Trent, or Broja? Oh man,
I think that's an easy one. I think.
Is it?
No?
Is it?
Well, Broja doesn't play this week.
He doubles. He doubles.
But
he
what double game week? Chelsea, right? Oh no, they play Chelsea. Sorry, they play. Yeah, he comes back into the team. Sorry.
Yeah, he comes back. Yeah.
It's a tough one, but Broja hasn't really been on fire. Really, I think over the last few weeks, I think everyone jumped onto that Broja train, and it just totally went dead. I mean, the returns have been. I think Joe, you can pull the returns up if you can, but I mean, it's been little, if anything. I don't think he's actually done anything in the last 7 weeks, maybe something like that.
Let me just.
Would that be fair to say?
Let me just
Sure.
share. So yeah, let's see. He hasn't returned since game week 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah, so we're
6,
looking at
7,
7 weeks, right? No, more than
8.
7 weeks, 9 weeks.
Yeah, his last goal was game week 24.
So
I
I
mean,
mean,
his last return, let's say.
yeah. So we're talking about a striker that's really off form right now. And then, when you look at the likes of Trent, he's still returning. Even if he
Mhm.
doesn't get a clean sheet, he gets a return. James, can be absolutely explosive as well. A lot of returns as well. Um, I don't know. For me, I don't like benching strikers. I got to be
I,
honest with you. I don't
yeah,
like
me too.
doing that.
Especially a double gimmick striker.
Yeah,
You know,
but
because there is a thing in FPL. Yeah, I don't know. Is it a myth or not? It's called the magic of double game week. You know, it's sort of like a magic of FA Cup.
yeah,
So this is the magic of double game week. You have players that you never expect to haul so huge
yeah.
that whoever owns him will just fly. You know.
Okay. So I
Yeah.
guess I know your answer then.
I mean, I probably wouldn't bench Broya, but he said one to bench, two to
Yeah.
play. I think so. I would probably play Trent and Broya.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
know. It's
I mean,
tough. It's a
there
tough
is
one.
a bit of rotation. I mean, you got to factor in all this. Trent had a rest on the week, midweek. Let's not forget that. James played 120 minutes.
Yeah. Do
Do you know what I mean? And he's just come back from injury. James, I mean, he was outstanding. I thought Reece James
Yeah.
against Real Madrid, he really was good. But
Mhm.
he's just back from injury. He's played 120 minutes. They've got an FA Cup semi-final on
I,
Sunday.
but I think there are rumors saying that he might be rested in the FA Cup and Aspilicueta plays. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it could go either way, right? He could get rested for this
Mhm.
one, but he's getting rested for one of the two, and it's a really toss up. I think Trent plays the next two games. He definitely plays against United, Trent,
Yep.
unless he gets
Yep.
injured against City.
Yeah.
It's like a guarantee. I mean, Liverpool will play their strongest team. There's no rotation and anything about that United match. So
Exactly.
yeah, I can see what you're saying. I think benching James would probably be the logical choice.
Just
Yeah.
barely. Just barely.
My brother-in-law, Torside was good in it, Craig. Wood's not going to score. Get Bruno in. I was just with him. We're having a few beers just before the show.
Oh.
Yeah, it was good. We had a few good beers at the brewery, and yeah,
It's-
shame I couldn't join you. Stay on a little bit longer to join you guys, but Matt, get your FPL team sorted ASAP. Yeah, he's one of those that sets it up at the start of the season and just doesn't look at it. I think, but I'm trying to get him a little bit more involved. Although I know
I mean,
he's recently become a dad.
which Bruno is he referring to? Is it Bruno G? Of
Yeah, Bruno
Newcastle?
G. So he's a Newcastle fan.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So it's definitely
makes
Bruno
sense.
G. Yeah.
Yeah, Bruno G. He's another player to watch, but I think if Willock comes back, it might sort of like put him at a back seat
Yeah.
because I think he did rather well. I think past games is due to Willock being out and he plays more up front. Yeah.
Yeah, I think with Bruno, I mean, I think he's still trying to, find his fit. I think he's a fantastic player, but
Mhm.
I mean, in terms of FPL returns,
Yeah.
I know he scored a goal, as soon as he came over to Newcastle and things like that. But I mean, he's one of those players you're not really going to get, regular returns. I mean, for the price that you're paying for him, I think it's 5 million plus. It just doesn't make sense for a guy that's not really. He's not on set pieces. He's not on anything really, and you're more likely to get something out of one of those defenders, for
Mhm.
less premium price. But yeah, Matt, back on it. Yeah, get on FPL. What are you doing? FPL overthinker John. Norwich still have a theoretical chance of survival. Man United can be poor in front of the home fans against weak sides, as I've seen a lot of times, and it could be low scoring. So Man United is very risky. I actually agree. I actually agree with this. I think this is. I think he's hit the nail on the head here. I think everyone's tripling up on United. I don't think. Yeah, I mean, I as I said earlier on, it's a double game week for United, but essentially you're looking at one because you can't expect, a haul out of the Liverpool fixture. I mean, you're essentially putting all your eggs into one basket against Norwich and hoping United turn up. And too often at home this season, United haven't turned up.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw earlier on there were protests outside the training ground from fans. So is triple Man United the way forward? I mean, that's the big question. And he hits it. He says this: Man United basically have a single game week. Also consider Ronaldo will leave it in the season and may not start against Norwich. Not too sure if that is entirely true. But yeah, I mean, it's something that we can look at.
Cavani is still out.
Cavani is still out. So I mean, Ronaldo will start. I'm almost certain of it that he starts because there's no other strikers available. But I mean, back to this, it's basically how many United assets are you going to get? I mean, let's look at the United assets and let's be honest about it. There could only be 3 or 4 United assets that we'll be looking at. And that would be Telles, because Shaw's out. That could be Bruno. That will be Bruno. There'll be Ronaldo. And I'm just going to throw him into the rich Jadon Sancho. I mean, you're not looking out of these. If you're going to go with 3 United assets, you can't be looking out of these.
And Varane is out. McTominay is out. Fred is out.
Fred could be one of those bench options, if you have spare funds,
I mean, he's out, right? So it could be a tricky one for United.
Fred's not. Fred's available.
Oh, is he?
Fred's available from what I read. McTominay's out, Varane's out, Shaw's out, and Cavani.
Okay.
Sorry. From what I understand, anyway, unless you've heard something different.
Maybe I read wrongly.
Yeah, and Fred's returns in recent game weeks haven't been that bad as well.
Sorry, Craig. Yeah, Rangnick just said this, I think, a while ago. He says 5 players will still be missing. Fred, McTominay, Varane, Luke Shaw, and Cavani. So Fred is also out.
So Fred's also out. Okay, so there you go. So it further limits us. And I mean, a cheap option, Elanga maybe. I think he starts one of the games. I'm quite certain. Maybe if you're looking for that, that bit of bench option, cheap bench option. But yeah, I mean, let's look at it. You're not going to look outside of those 4, really, are you? Telles, Bruno, Ronaldo, Sancho.
So you're not confident at all, even against Norwich?
Honestly, no. If I'm being honest with you, no. I mean, you got to look, and I think you're right. I mean, Norwich will give everything to try and survive. I mean, I think it's almost certain that they go down. But with United, a top 4 is out of the question. There's not much to play for, and you look at the home form. I mean, the home form has let them down a lot. The ability is never a question with this United side. It's whether they want to turn up. And too often I've seen it this season that they're not really bothered. So, being a guy on a free hit, I actually have only 1 United player going into it. As it stands.
You're on free hit too?
I'm on a free hit too, yeah.
1 United.
Hey?
Only 1.
I've only got 1 Man United player, and that's Telles.
And you're going to go to Old Trafford to watch the match.
I am going to go Old Trafford to watch the match. Yes.
so probably you're actually hedging your bets, don't you?
No, I mean, there's 2. I mean, there's the fan side of it, and then there's the FPL manager, right? And
I mean, if they don't perform, then you can tell yourself, oh, at least I only have Telles. But if they perform and won, then you're a happy United fan.
Yeah. I mean, I'll go into it if I just keep just Tellez. I'll be going into it hoping for a 0-0 or maybe like a 2-0 United and Tellez 2 assists or something like that. But I mean, back to the question. I mean, that's I agree. I think it's risky. Do you think it's risky, Joe?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely risky, you know. But I think bulk of the free hit is basically trying to peel yourself away from the template and to try to gain ground. Hopefully, things go your way, and then you peel yourself away from the competition or away from the template. So right now seems like double or triple United is away from the template.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It could hurt really badly for me, to be honest. But it's just a high risk, high reward kind of thing.
Yeah, I think my family's bombarding the chat right now after we've had a few drinks earlier on. It's my cousin Erica. Oi, lads. Both have effective single game weeks. I agree. I mean, this is going back to what FPL overthinker John is saying. Upgrade Ronaldo to Kane, and it goes back to how many double game week players are we going to have? How many single game week players are we going to have? And weighing them up against each other, really. I mean, for Ronaldo, the Norwich fixture is juicy on paper, but Kane could easily just go crazy against Brighton. So it's one. Yeah, and you guys both effectively have a single game week, obviously ruling out that Liverpool fixture. And I get where he's coming from, and I'm of the same thinking. And yeah, I don't think he's overthinking, it's just one of those where I think he could be right here.
Yeah, he could be.
Yeah. Sam, it's good to see you. Where have you been? It has been a while since you've been around. I'm good. I think Joe's good as well.
Yep.
Hopefully we're better after game week 33. But Sam, you need to start replying to your messages. You're awful at it. I'm guessing this is my sister, Yo Dodo. Yep. Thank you. Yeah, family still bombarding the chats. FPL Overthinker. There are only 3 places in the Premier League that teams are fighting for: 1st, 4th, 17th. Only Man City, Liverpool, Tottenham, Arsenal, Burnley, and Everton have anything to fight for and can be guaranteed to play full-strength teams. Yes and no. I think he's missing Chelsea in that. I think Chelsea still, would want to get more points on the board. I don't think they'll sacrifice the Premier League in that. Who else?
West Ham.
Yeah. West Ham. He's missing West Ham in that. They still got a lot to play for. You got to remember with West Ham, there's not a lot of rotation, whether they're playing the Premier League or whether they're playing Europe.
I think it's also due to the fact that they have a really small squad.
Yeah, correct. So there isn't too much, and you can expect someone like Jared Bowen and Antonio to play regularly in the Premier League. I think.
Yep. I mean, they did really well against Lyon.
Yeah,
they smashed Lyon. I think Bowen scored again, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and I think just putting into this. I mean, you're talking about teams that guaranteed. Newcastle's guaranteed to play full strength this weekend. I mean, I'm almost certain for their double game week they'll play a full strength squad.
Yeah,
I mean, again, we go back to the squad limits, but also they're still kind of in that relegation battle. They're not safe by any stretch of the imagination. So
and I mean, and they're also playing at St. James's Park, so they would probably want to.
I mean, they need to get wins on the board. I mean, let's be real about it.
Yeah,
so I think there are a few more teams than that has been mentioned that will be still going all out. But yeah, we will see. We will see. Isn't Bruno G more of an 8 or even a 6? Yeah, I mean, just seeing how he's been playing for Newcastle, I don't think he's a 6 as such, but he's more of an 8, I would say, in that team. But just doesn't get into the box enough. Doesn't own set pieces enough. So just not really good FPL option in my opinion. And I think it was just my brother-in-law citing his being a little bit more biased towards his Newcastle team. Ashlelicious one. Hey guys, hi. It's good to see you. It's good to be back as well doing the show. Loving every minute of it and seeing all the regular faces that we usually have. MS Cross, Barnes and Broya already have Madison or Dewsbury Hall and Adams on a free hit. Oh, I'm going to leave this to you, Joe.
Dewsbury Hall and Adams, just because of the guaranteed minutes.
Okay.
I look at his free hit team. I assume he's going to bench Dewsbury Hall. So yeah.
Yep. KDH and Adams. Yeah. I think Fred is out too. Yeah, I didn't realize that until Joe pulled that up. Fred is out. Yep, I know. Yep. Yep, Fred is out. Yep, yeah, I got that. Got that, guys. Got that. We lost to a team in relegation dogfight managed by Frank Lampard. You'll see more results buying Aubameyang. And he's not wrong. You know, it's an embarrassing. It's an embarrassing time to be a United fan, and the result last week was shambolic. So Man United have limited defense with only Pogba as a CDM. You've got Nemanja Matic as well that's available that can play there. Pogba, I expect to play. Limited. Yeah, in that central midfield area with McTominay and Fred out. I would say so. Matic is the one that played last week, obviously, and he'd probably play again this week, judging by over the next 2 game weeks. I'm not too sure how long McTominay and Fred are out for, by the way, but yeah, Pogba will probably play in that CDM for sure. I'm on a free hit. Have no Man United players. Would rather have Son than Bruno Fernandes. I might do as well, to be honest with you. As I said, with United, it's limited players that you're going to choose from. There's no more than 4 that you'll be looking at, but it's that thing, I mean, with United's home form being atrocious and their form in general being atrocious, does Bruno, haul more than Son? Yeah, and it's a flip of the coin, really.
Both.
It was. But if you're on a free hit, maybe you might swing towards the double game week player. Yeah, I would think, but it's a real toss up. I can't call it. Joe, you?
I rather have both.
Both.
Yeah.
Well, I guess now that Madison, the Barnes probably opens up a little space in the team, right? If you're on a free hit.
Sorry, Barnes?
Yeah, because I think a lot of people were doing that Madison and Barnes before yesterday.
Between Madison and Barnes, I'll prefer Madison, of course.
So now I think, if you were doubling up on that Leicester midfield, right? You maybe take Barnes out of that and just go with one Leicester midfielder in Madison.
Yep.
And that could free up a space in there. Obviously, you'll have to rejig a few things to kind of afford Son or Bruno, but yeah. SK on a free hit, Kane and Sancho or Ronnie and Saka. I have a feeling Saka starts at left back against Chelsea to stop James making him less appealing. Wow. Yeah.
I mean, personally for me, it doesn't make sense for Saka to be at left back. He is probably their best player right now.
Yeah.
And arguably the creative output of the team. So pretty sure that I think Arteta will probably put other people at left back rather than his most creative player. I don't know. I'm not Mikel, so but it just doesn't make sense if you ask me.
Yeah. If there are any Arsenal fans watching right now, I mean, Did Granit Xhaka start at left back in the last match?
Yeah, he did, but
He did?
it seems he didn't do really well as a left back. I mean, you can't fault him. He's not a natural left
Yeah,
back.
correct.
Yeah,
but they still have Tavares. They can play Cedric there, I guess. They have options. I mean, Tavares is a left back essentially, right? So,
yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those. I agree with you, Joe. I'd be very surprised if Saka starts at left back because he's potentially one of Arsenal's best attacking players, and in a team where your main striker in Lacazette isn't really firing and scoring goals. I think it's important that Martinelli and Xhaka kind of step up to that, and Saka step up to that and kind of have more of an influence in the attacking areas, and that's where you want Saka really.
Yeah.
So yeah, just go back to this. Sorry. So Kane and Sancho or Ronnie and Saka?
Tough one.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm leaning towards Kane and Sancho, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah. I mean that. Yeah.
I'm more towards Ronnie and Saka.
Really?
It's just the first instinct answer kind of thing. Yeah.
I mean, for me, yeah, it's just has Ronaldo really been firing? No. Have United been creating enough chances for him? No. I don't know. I mean, for me, Kane and Sancho. I think Sancho's form is a bit better than Ronaldo's at the moment, and Kane's form is. If we're looking at form, I think Kane and Sancho to be honest with you. But I know it's a tough one. It's flip the coin. Joe, what you're the expert. What are you saying?
I'm leaning towards Ronnie and Saka just because they have more fixtures.
Okay, let's do that. Just everyone with studies and some personal stuff. Not really that engulfed with football and FPL recently. But once you are, obviously everything takes priority over FPL. Once you're back in it, Sam, do let me know. Drop me a message. FPL Overthinker Spurs Brighton would be an open game. Potter rarely uses a low block. I think they'll take on Spurs, which is perfect for Kane's son on the break. I absolutely agree with you, John. I'm in the same boat, which is why I'm actually loving that fixture. And hence why I'm backing Kane and Sancho over Ronaldo and Saka, despite the games. That's how I see the match panning out, really. Don't forget what happened with Dennis and King, who had one of the first double game weeks in my opinion. The poorer the team, the less reliable the assets are. The poorer the team, the less reliable the assets are. That is true.
Definitely makes sense.
But I mean, we've seen an improvement in a team like Newcastle recently. I watched the Wolves, and they're not a great team. They're poor, but
but you can see, they have the spirit.
Which is, and I think you touched upon it just now. I think when they play at St. James's Park, which I think both their games are at home, right? I think that's a massive difference for me. And what
the atmosphere at St. James's Park will be huge boost for them.
Drive them on, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that's why I'm in the situation where I'm probably going to have more Newcastle players than I will Man United right now. That's just me being honest with you.
Yeah, that's and from a United fan.
That's from a United fan as well. Yeah. FPL everything again. Great stream, guys. First time I've seen this. Thanks for answering my comments. Look forward to seeing the next one. We've been doing it for nearly 2 years now. John, where have you been? No, but thanks. Obviously, it's your first time on here. Thanks for the great questions and the insights and the feedbacks as well. I've really enjoyed having you on and answering the questions as well. We do shows every week. We do content every week. It's just great to have you on here, and hopefully you watch more of our shows, and we can connect a lot more. And SK, I think they match Chelsea with the back five with Saka at left wing back. That'll be interesting. I like that. I think that will be a really good matchup if Arsenal do. They haven't done it too often this season, playing with five at the back. But if they do match Chelsea, it'll be interesting because, as Joe mentioned, there could be a potential that Reece James doesn't play the FA Cup semi and plays the league match instead, which would make sense. But it could be the other way around as well. Straight after playing 120 minutes, you could play it could go either way. But like I said, Saka at left back, I wouldn't say I'll be disappointed with Arteta, but I think, when he's one of your best attacking weapons and you're asking him to track back, it just doesn't make sense for me.
Yeah.
And I think they can get at Chelsea. I mean, Arsenal aren't a bad side, as they've proven this season.
On their day, I think they can stand up against any team.
Yeah, I think they can. They can go to Chelsea and hurt them potentially. So, we don't know. It's all we're all just guessing here. But
yeah, we got to remember Chelsea lost. Consider 4 goals against Brentford. So anything can happen.
Yeah, and I just think that Joe, I know you're for Saka, having Saka, but I think as John mentioned, FPL Overthinker mentioned that Brighton fixture over Spurs it's just so tasty. So I think SK was the one that asked, right? The 2 options that he gave us. I think it was Ronaldo and
Sancho.
Yeah, Kane and Sancho and Ronaldo.
Ronaldo and Saka. Yes.
Yeah, and Joe's sticking with Saka and thing. But I'm going to tell you.
But it doesn't make sense because you see, Kane and Sancho, Ronaldo and Saka. Ronaldo is actually just shy of 0.1 away from Kane. So why not Kane and Saka?
Can be done. Can be done.
SK, if you're listening, can you do that?
Kane and Saka, SK?
Yeah.
Is that
solved? Problem solved.
It can definitely be done. Yeah, stay away.
Funds not an issue.
Funds not an issue. Do it. Like I said, I'm going to have more Newcastle players than Man United. So that's the sad state of affairs that we have. Okay, I think that rounds up all the questions that we've answered from the community. Thank you for everyone that joined us on the stream. It was definitely a lot longer than we expected, but we missed last week. We have to say that we did miss last week, and we put it on the Twitter.
I did run a Q&A with
you did run a Q&A for us on Twitter.
Yep.
So when we can't make a show, we try and put it on Twitter. So we just constantly have content coming out. So Joe, thank you so much for last week. I didn't get to thank you for that, and also this week for being absolutely fantastic for spraying some night. What it must be about 12:30 in Malaysia in the morning.
Yep.
Yeah. And you still look very bright and awake and chirpy. So, thank you for that. It's a lot. The time's a lot kinder for me right now. Here in England. So,
and it's a Good Friday. It's a Good Friday long weekend, right?
It is. Yeah. It's a bank holiday today, and obviously we've got bank holiday on Monday as well. So,
wow.
My first bank holiday since I've been back, so enjoying it for what it's worth. Thank you so much for taking the time out and staying up so late to give not only us some content on FPL expectations, but also giving some insights to the FPL community. I'm sure they very much appreciate that. All the best for the double game week 33. Just to confirm, you will be putting up your draft team before the deadline?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's what I usually do.
Okay, so you'll be doing that before the deadline. If you're not already following him, please do. It's at Joe FPL, and he will post up his final team locked and secured ahead of the double game week 33 deadline. Do follow us on FPL Expectations. If you like this video, do click the subscribe button down below. Give us a like if you liked it. And do follow our Twitter handle at FPL Expectations on Twitter. And do follow me at Craig Marias 11. Thank you. It's been it's been a long show, shall we say, but it's been an enjoyable one. It's great being back on the show after so long. Joe, once again, thank you very much for your time.
No
really
problem.
do appreciate that. And we'll be back with more content ahead of some crucial game weeks coming up. This is just it's just such an exciting time for FPL, I think, the last few weeks of the season. And we are going to embrace it. We're going to come up with some great content. Joe's going to be at the center of it all, along with a few others. And yes, I didn't forget, someone asked us about a wildcard draft for next game week. I will make sure we get that up on the show. All right. Thank you. And as always, may the FPL gods be with you.